Today we're going to learn how to sew on a button. For instructional purposes, I'm going to demonstrate with a very large button. But in real life, we use a small button or a button that's appropriate for whatever you're sewing it onto. I want you to notice that on this button there's a ridge. The ridge is the front of the button. Make sure you do not sew the button on upside down. The ridge always has to face you. Now, for today's lesson, I already have a needle and I already have my hand knot at the end of the needle. I want to make sure that my button is face up, and today I'm going to sew an X to hold my button onto my fabric. The first step that I do is I take my needle and I poke it through the fabric and I bring it all the way through so that my knot is anchored on the back. It's like a flying carpet. Now that my thread is anchored, I'm going to take my needle and I'm going to put it through a hole in the button. And I am going to come down through the hole opposite where I first came up. It's like a dolphin in the water, going up and down. Here comes the dolphin up. Here comes the dolphin down. I've done that twice. In the same spot, I'm going to do it a third time. Dolphin up, dolphin down. And a fourth time, making sure I pull my thread all the way through. Dolphin up, dolphin down. And notice, I'm going in exactly the same spot. I'm not all over the place. I'm close to the inside of the hole and I'm in the same place. Now, I want to finish the last part of the X, so I want to go diagonally this way. From the bottom, remember, from the bottom, we always start from the bottom. I take my needle up and I come down. And here goes the dolphin again. That's 1, 2, 3, 4. Once we have finished sewing our X on the back of the button, we are going to do what's called a shank. A shank is located underneath here, and it's so you can get a button through a buttonhole very easily. You take your needle, and on the back, you go through your fabric to the back of the fabric, but you do not go through the button. And now I'm going to pull my needle all the way through. Now my thread is on the back of the fabric and between the fabric and the back of the button. I'm going to flip my button over and I'm going to wrap my thread around the bottom of the button 4 times. 1, tug it a little bit, 2, tug, 3, tug, 4, tug. Now if I look, you see, there's my shank right there. You can see it right there in the back of the button. I am then going to take my needle and I'm going to put my needle back through the fabric only to the back of the button. And now I want to finish the button by making a knot so it doesn't fall off. I'm going to take a stitch right in this area where my previous stitching is. I'm going to put the needle in and lift the needle out. I want you to see that, in and out. That is called a stitch, in and out. And I'm going to pull my needle and I'm going to pull it until I get a loop. That's the stitch. I'm going to take my needle and I'm going to come through the loop and I'm going to pull it. There's one knot. I'm going to do that again. Take it from the back, go through the loop, pull. Now my button is done. There's my button, there's my X, here's the front of the button, there's my shank. Button completed.